Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg, episode 171. Today we're playing a little Slay the Spire, which is a early access, very entertaining, addictive combination of sort of a Dominion deck building like card game and sort of the Hearthstone dungeon run concept. Rogue-like card game, I guess, if that's how you want to think of it. It's early access, but it is it's very good. So far. Been playing it quite a bit. Alright, so this week I hit 100,000 subscribers on the Exploring series. Which is really just pretty nuts. Actually, it's really funny. You know, 100,000 subscribers on the other channel. You know, I'm getting like 3,000 views an hour every day for like the last week, thanks to the Bloodborne video. Like, just non-stop comments and views just everywhere. And then I pop over to my other channel, this channel, and it's just like, oh, 15 views, nice. It's very funny, the difference between my two channels. But I don't think I'd really want this channel to be that popular. I like just having a small viewership, so I don't have to worry about all these people criticizing my gameplay. Because I think I'm better at making exploring videos than playing video games and talking over them. So it's all good. But yeah, 100,000 subs. It's pretty awesome. And so I put out the video over there of, you know, thanking everyone for, you know, watching and subscribing and how awesome it was to get 100,000 subscribers, and the outpouring, I guess, of feedback and congratulations and things like that. It was really awesome. It's really nice to hear that people are big enough fans. There's enough fans of the channel entirely that they'll just watch, you know, it doesn't matter what series I'm covering, they'll just watch anything, and they, you know, they're learning stuff about series and that they would normally not really be interested in. So that's really great. But yeah, it's just pretty incredible. Not something I expected when I made that first Cthulhu video, obviously. And it's really funny because I was so close with that Cthulhu video, just doing unscripted and just sitting there and chatting about Cthulhu for, you know, 45 minutes and rambling on. And if I had decided to do that, this never would have happened, because no way would that have been a quality video. So there you have it. And you know, I've tried several series. You know, I've tried several different ideas with video making to try and to get something popular and successful. Because, you know, when you're just making videos, you just try different stuff and you never know what's gonna really hit it off. You know, I did Mangg Food, Mangg's Movies, obviously all the Let's Plays, role manging, board manging, just different types of videos and different things that I'm interested in and stuff, and so something finally clicked and worked out. incidentally, the first thing that I ever actually scripted. So I guess that's how it works. But yeah, pretty awesome. We went out Friday night. I wanted to treat my family to a dinner, just completely on me. It was a big celebration, so I took my parents, my brother, and his wife out went to a Japanese restaurant, and we went pretty big baller there. It was quite a big tab, but that's all right. It was a good celebration. You only hit 100,000 once, I guess, unless you make another channel. And anyways, it was good. It was good. Good food. And we talked about how I'd like to, in 2019, go to Japan with my brother and his wife, because they're both big, well, I guess weeboo is really the word, right? But they'd be interested in going. And it's really the only other place I'd like to travel to in the world. The whole Europe thing just didn't mesh that well with me. So, but Japan on my own, well, not on my own, but without a tour or without a school group or something, and just going where I want to go and doing what I want to do, eating the food I want to eat. I think that could be a lot better. And so, yeah, I'd like to go in 2019. I'd like to go before it's like underneath the ocean or something like that. Before it gets nuked by North Korea. But we'll see what happens. You never know. You never know. So, yeah, so aside from the 100,000 thing, the Bloodborne video came out on Christmas Day, and very quickly shot off into success. I think it's, I don't know, I think it's close to 100,000 views. Something like that. I'd have to check. It's up there. Yeah, it's at 98,000 right now. So pretty close. It'll be there by, I don't know, after I finish this video. And really the big every time I have a video that sort of, gets really popular like that, the Sauron video, the Dwemer video, the werewolf video, this video, whatever. Every time one of those gets really popular, I always think, that's when I really start to think like, damn, I wish I had done a better job on that. I wish I had spent more time on that. I wish it's out there now. Everyone, all these people have seen it. I can't change anything. I can't fix anything. It's just out there. It's done. And it could be better. And with a lot of videos like, all these Daedric Prince videos and stuff, it's just like, all right, well, they're not that popular, but really I couldn't have done that much different with it. So it is what it is. But with this, it's just, coulda, woulda, shoulda. And I think the Bloodborne video is good, and a lot of people apparently agree. They got like a 99% like ratio, which is really good for a video that, this is the first video on my channel that a lot of people are seeing, and, they don't know anything about my style or anything like that, and so, I'm pretty happy with the feedback, the reception. But I don't know, I feel like I could have mentioned other things. I could have gone into maybe some different details. I don't know. I guess that's like eternally the sort of creator's burden, is always thinking they could have done better. But anyway, I guess it's a good video. I have to be happy. I'm definitely happy I'm getting all these new subscribers, new viewers. The channel is doing very well. We're already like over 2,000 subs into 100K. So yeah, it's good. I mean, obviously my family is very happy for me. Although it's like they don't really recognize it as like a job. And so like the questions are always like about money. That's pretty much always, whenever anybody's talking about the YouTube thing, it's like, oh, how much money you make? How much money you make on that day and a month and blah, blah, blah. Does it pay good money? How's the money? And it's just like, this is America. We don't discuss stuff like that. It's money. It's good money. It's good money. It's fine money. I mean, well, like, I'll say this, like, for the last week, if I made that, like, if that was consistent across a whole year, that would be better money that I could make at any other job that I could get with no college degree. So, yeah, I mean, I don't, it's not going to sustain, but it's like I think it's like a nice teaser of what the future could hold, you know, if I continue to accelerate in popularity and get up to that level. Anyways, I guess that's enough about the whole thing. So, yeah, the Bloodborne video came out. I was working like Christmas Eve night and Christmas night. I was working on videos, so, you know, it takes some dedication. The Mephala video, no, the Meridia video and the Molik Bal video came out this week. I don't have nearly enough black. I'm talking. So this next, I worked on the 9 Divines video this week. I think it's a fine video, I guess. There's really not much to say about the 9 Divines, so I mean, it's around 10 minutes, so it's a good length, but when I was wrapping it up, you know, I finished the script and everything, I was putting it together, and I was wondering about pronunciation of a couple of the deities, a couple of the divines, and so I was looking at other videos to see how they pronounce them, and if people, and then I scroll in the comments to see if anybody's like, you fuckwad, it's not pronounced like this, it's pronounced like this, you know, because I just assume other channels get the same sort of comments that I get. And so I went to the Shoddy Cast video for the 9 Divines, because they pretty much made the exact same video that I made. Like, and really, there's not much else you can do when discussing a video in 9 Divines. Like, it's not like, what a crazy coincidence, we have the same video. it's pretty much you just talk about each deity in order, and you know what they represent, who they're, you know, who prays to them, and then there's a in-game book called like the 10 Commands or something of the 9 Divines, and it lists, you know, what like the commandment is from each of the 9 Divines. And so you throw that in the video for each of the 9 Divines, and there you go. And that's pretty much, we have the exact same video. And so I had already written the script. It was done. I was putting it together, and I was like, shit. I'm just gonna get comments accusing me of copying Shoddycast now. Even though, like, I've never watched like one of their videos. Not because I don't care for him or anything like that, like specifically because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to steal any of their material or their format, or, you know, I don't watch any lore videos at all because I don't want to steal anything. I only look them up for pronunciation, because a lot of times that's the only way I can find out how something is pronounced, or how people are pronouncing it commonly, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I don't copy lore. I don't pull a... Was that Vadi that was accused of that? I think it was. And then he, like... Yeah, I think that was the whole thing with Vadi, where he got accused of copying somebody else's video, and then he really sort of changed up how he does things after that, because he never wanted to hear that again. Anyways, so it is what it is. There's not much variation possible with the 9 Divine video. So then this week is gonna be the... It's not the Namidia video. It's not even called Namidia. That's like it's like a wolf from Game of Thrones or something. What the hell is its name? It's Namira. Namira. That's it. Yeah. Talk about, like, there are a couple of Daedric princes that really nobody gives a shit about. Nobody ever talks about. There's a few of them. Namira, Periite, and Vermina. You just really never hear about, I think. You know, you always hear about, like, Azura and Hermaeus Mora, Mehrunes Dagon, and Molag Bal, and Sheogorath. But, like, Periite, whoever talks about Periite. Namira, I don't even know why she's in the... like, I think they just wanted to get to 16, so, like, I don't know. How about a Prince of... well, they have Nocturnal, who's, like, the Prince of Darkness, obviously. And then Namira is the Prince of the Ancient Darkness. It's like, what is this? And she's apparently associated with anything that is, like, repulsive. So, like, spiders and bugs and slugs and stuff. And this prince, she does not need to exist. So I don't know what video I'm gonna make on that. It's gonna be like a 1-minute video. But then Nocturnal, there's quite a bit more to say, so that'll be a bit longer. I think plenty of people like Nocturnal. And she's got the skeleton key. Everybody loves the skeleton key. Anyways, I think that's enough talk about Exploring series. This week on this channel, I had obviously more Final Fantasy. I started up Hollow Knight yesterday, thanks to a suggestion. So hopefully that should be pretty entertaining. I don't... Oh, there was my top 10 games of 2017. Normally I would do a top 10 board games of 2017. Or, you know, my current top 10 list for board games. But I don't know how different it would be. I don't know if there's really a whole lot to say. The only thing that's really notable is Gloomhaven. I think Gloomhaven would probably come in at number 2. Behind Cosmic. It's like, throughout the course of the year, we played Cosmic plenty of times. And, you know, I had a blast every time we play. I always look forward to playing Cosmic. It's just one of those all-time, I'll always be down for a good game of Cosmic. And then, you know, Gloomhaven came in very recently, and I'll talk about it a little bit in a minute. Well, I guess I've moved on to board games now, so we'll talk about it. You know, Gloomhaven comes in, and, you know, at this moment in time, at this very moment, I would probably pick to play a game of Gloomhaven over a game of Cosmic. I mean, well, it's all very theoretical. You know, if I had a group of people who are like, hey, let's play Cosmic, we're gonna play Cosmic, it'd be like, all right, we'll play Cosmic. Because that doesn't happen very often, whereas Gloomhaven I get to play like every day. But I think, you know, Cosmic overall, longevity-wise and all that, throughout the course of the year, all that, Cosmic is probably the better bet. Because once I'm done with Gloomhaven, and that's going to happen, it's going to come to a point where, you know, we've played through a whole campaign. You know, maybe the expansion comes out. I'm sure he's working on the expansion now. We get that. We play through all that. We've played, you know, hours upon hours upon hours of Gloomhaven. You know, it's going to wear out. And, you know, in 5 years or whatever, maybe there'll be a Gloomhaven 2 or something like that. But Gloomhaven will probably be pretty much done with. And it'll be, you know, fond memories and all that. Whereas in 5 years, we'll still be playing Cosmic Encounter. So, it is what it is. I have no idea what I'm doing with this build, by the way. I'm just picking random cards. So, yeah, let's see here. Thursday we were going to get together to play Battlestar Galactica. We had a 5-man group, and so we were gonna get together to play BSG. And then, like, a couple hours beforehand, I think I watched... It was a Dice Tower video of, like, their top 10 gaming experiences of 2017. And one of them was discussing the sort of, the escape room games that are sort of a really modern, recent development of basically having an escape room in a box. You know, so you have just, like, a stack of cards or whatever, and it's meant to replicate an escape room. And they're pretty popular, and I actually bought one at Gen Con this year that was still sitting in the box. And so I was like, okay, we have 5 people together, you know, why don't we give this a shot? We'll try this escape room. Unlock the formula, it was called. And so they were on board, and we would have been better off playing BSG, I'll tell you that. Pretty much because it came down to us being stupid, I guess. It must be. I mean, these are popular things. Plenty of people have beaten this. It must be because we're stupid. So we started out, and it seemed pretty interesting, pretty cool at the start. Because, you know, you're going through this stack of cards, and on each card there's usually like an image, and you have to sort of combine a couple different cards in order to reveal new cards, and it's basically like, it's sort of like Time Stories-esque thing, where you're combining, you know, you have a key on a card, you know, and you're combining that card, which has a number, with another card, which is like a lock. And so you combine the numbers on both cards to get a new number, you add them together, and then you look through the deck for that number, you know, the sum of the 2 cards. And then if it adds up and there's a card in there, you flip it over, and then it'll either be like, you know, you open it, and so here's the, you know, the card will have like the opened lock, and you get more stuff. Or it'll be like a penalty, like, no, you fucked up, you stupid ass, and you lose 3 minutes on the clock, because it's timed. So you only have an hour, and you probably have less because you're gonna get penalized. Because like right at the start, there was like the sink. There was like the sink in the room we were in, and apparently, like, in the sink we could see there was like a key. And so we got a wire. We got like a copper wire or something. Like, okay, we'll just use the wire to fish down there and get the key. So we tried that. We added the numbers together. We flip over a card, and it's like, no, it's a penalty. You fucked up. The wire is too short. So basically, you lose 3 minutes of trying to get it before realizing that the wire is too short. Much later, we realized we're supposed to take the vase. There's a vase of flowers. We're supposed to take that and dump it into the sink, because the key has a cork attached to it, and so the cork will rise to the top with the water, and then we can just grab the key. And that makes sense in hindsight. And so it went along okay for a while. We were figuring things out, and there was an app that you have to use to play the thing, and I was in charge of the app, and I definitely got confused with how the app functioned, because there was like a code thing, you had to punch in numbers, but then there was also like a machine thing, and so you had to do the machine, and it was just complicated, really. And so, well, we were getting penalized all over the place. We were getting stuck. It was getting a little frustrating for them, and we got to a point where we really had no idea what to do, and we had run out of time. Actually, we had taken enough penalties and taken enough time where we ran out of time. And so I was like, well, you know, we ran out of time, so technically we lost, but, you know, we can keep playing. You know, the timer just sort of starts ticking up instead, and you can keep going, but technically we lost. But basically, they were pretty much just done. They had lost all interest in this, because we had no idea what to do, and even though I looked up the spoiler for, you know, how to continue, basically, like, what we needed to look for was on one of the cards in like at the tiny corner in tiny little transparent, like, you know, font, there was a number. And so whenever you see a number on a card, you're allowed to flip over that card from the deck. And so a lot of times it's very visible and open. It's like, okay, you know, you see this microscope sitting on the desk, so, and it has the number on it, so obviously you can see the microscope, you get the microscope card. Whereas sometimes there's hidden numbers. And this is meant to be things that are like sort of hidden, like on the lab coat, like in transparent font on like one of the pockets, there was a number. And so when you see that, you can flip over the card and you get a key because it was hidden in the pocket. But this number was like, none of us, we looked over that card. We all looked over that card intensely, and we did not see it until we looked up the spoiler online and said, okay, on this card in this corner, there's the number 7. And so then that was only when we could see it. It was like, oh, right, there's a 7 there. And it's just like, all right. I mean, yeah, because that was necessary. Absolutely necessary in order to continue. And so that's pretty lame, you know. Playing I Spy, and I was hoping it would require more logic than good eyesight, because my eyesight is not good. And apparently none of our eyesight was that good. And so we didn't finish. We didn't even complete the thing. And because they weren't, you know, we could have continued because I looked up spoilers, but they weren't even interested. It was just a done game for them. And, you know, for me, well, for them, that's no big deal. It's just, whatever, who cares, move on to the next game. But when you bought the fucking game, you know, it's a one-time we're never going to play this again, because we've already, like, we've solved most of it. You know, there's no interest in bringing it back for another game night. Like, oh, let's give it another go and go through it again. Like, no, this is it. I'm never going to play this again. And so for them, you know, for them, it's no big deal, but I bought it. I'd like to see how it ends. And so, I mean, I have to, like, crack it open at home and solve it myself. It's just, I mean, you can do that, but I don't know. So that was a big bummer for me. Because it's like playing halfway through, it's like playing halfway through Cosmic Encounter and being like, all right, well, we're done. We're done with this game, so let's move on to the next one. It's just not done. You finish a game. That's how we operate. But not that day. Not that day, my friends. Anyway, so then we moved on to Ethnos, which I also picked up at Gen Con. Haven't played yet. Aside from them really not, like, understanding the rules, even though it seemed really simple to me, and they, you know, one of them, you know, we were playing at Thomas's house. He just got a new puppy, so this puppy was just all over the place, and he had to take it outside, and it was just like, oh my god. I'm not a dog person, so having a puppy interrupt game night is just not... I'm a cat person, and my cats know to stay the hell away whenever there's game night. They're not sitting around meowing and jumping on the table and shit. It's just, they know what's up. I'm doing terribly this run. But Ethnos, pretty interesting game. It's sort of a light dudes on the map kind of game, where you have just a simple board with like 6 different regions, and you have these, the game is entirely sort of card based, and you've got like these different tribes of fantasy creatures, and so you're like drawing cards, and then you can either draw a card or you play like a set of cards, a band of cards. And the set of cards you play can either all be the same color, or they can all be the same tribe, so they can all be the same creature. And you know, each tribe, each set of cards you play, you pick one card to be the leader of that set, and that determines like in what region you can put your marker. And they all have their own special ability for when each tribe is a leader. And so it's, you know, it's sort of a lighter game, because a lot of times, like, your turn is just drawing a card off the top of a deck. So you really have no choice in what sort of card you get. The choice comes in when to play a set of cards and what set of cards to play and what leader and things like that, and where to put your markers. Because at the end of every age, 3 ages, you look at each region and who has the most markers in there, and they get the points, and then the second most gets the second amount of points, and blah 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 blah. And so pretty interesting game. Light. It's one, really, I bought it because I was in the Cool Mini or Not booth. I stood in line day one of Gen Con for like half an hour, and it's like I got into the booth, nothing interested me, and I just refused to leave the booth after all that without buying anything. So I bought Ethnos. So it's a decent game. It's kind of like Concordia, but probably lighter than Concordia. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't play many of those light type games. I'd rather just play Blood Rage or Concordia. So I don't know. It'll probably get sold off at some point, but there you go. So yeah, Gloomhaven, just absolutely fantastic. I just cannot get enough Gloomhaven. Like, every day I just want to play it. And, you know, the setup time, teardown time, that is a negative. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it is a negative, but it's not enough of a negative to detract from the experience. Like, it's not enough where it's like, oh, I don't want to have to set it up. We don't have to play today. It's like, no, I'll set it up. Don't you worry. We're gonna play, because it's just great. So we've done, oh gosh, I don't know, 10 scenarios? Give or take. I don't know. I'm not keeping track of the exact amount of scenarios we've done. We've failed a couple scenarios. No. We failed one scenario twice. We ran it twice in a row because we failed the first time. We're like, let's do it again. We got to do this. We failed it again right afterwards, and so we're like, all right, we got to move on to a different scenario. We can't deal with 3 failures in a row. It's just, no, we can't do it. Because, you know, these scenarios can take, you know, an hour and a half, depending on the length of it. And so, my mom actually switched characters. She was originally the Tinkerer, which was really sort of a support character designed around ranged combat and buffing characters next to her and healing a little bit. She had a bunch of heals, which is nice. Healing is nice, but I'm playing a Mind Thief, and so I started level 1 with 6 HP. And so the Mind Thief is all about, you know, hitting and running and, you know, getting in, getting out, going invisible. I can go invisible a lot. And so for 2 players, Mind Thief can be really good, but you need somebody there that is a bit more... I think Mind Thief Brute would probably be pretty good. But Tinkerer, I don't know. It wasn't really working, especially because I think it's a more complicated class to play, and that was not a good choice for her. So she ended up switching to the Scoundrel. Who's basically sort of the thief character. Backstabs and sort of repositioning characters a little bit, and she wants to be next to her allies, but she also wants to hit targets that are not next to any of their allies, so she sort of is like a assassin. You know, she wants to single out targets and take them down one at a time. So she doesn't have like a lot of AoE. That's really our biggest problem, is neither one of us has AoE attacks. We only have to do one target at a time, but between the 2 of us, we can take down like any one target real easily. Like, we're really good boss killers right now. But when we have a room full of targets, that's where we get really screwed. Because we cannot take many hits, and it takes us a while to clear through a room like that. And so we've unlocked a new character. I really don't want to spoil too much. Like, I mean, I don't know how many people listening to Hanging With Me, I think I've mentioned this before, I don't know how many people really care about board games or anything like that. And that number is even smaller for people that are interested in planning to get Gloomhaven. That's probably a pretty small number, but Gloomhaven just hit #1 on BGG this week. So it's the #1 rated game. Thanks in part to my 10 out of 10 rating that I gave it. And so I don't know. It's going to come to retail. Maybe, you know, maybe some of you will get it and you don't want to be spoiled, because it is sort of an adventure. It's a journey that you play through. But we unlocked a new character, so we could switch to that, but basically at this point, it would be pointless for me to switch, because I've almost completed my personal quest. You know, every time you have a character, they get a personal quest, and when you complete that, you get to retire your character. They get to retire their life of adventuring, and then you switch to a new character. So I'm almost done with that. So I want to unlock another character and switch to you know, I'll switch then, because you have to switch once you unlock your personal objective. And so it would be pointless to switch, because I'm almost done. And also, whenever you switch characters to a new one, they start at a level equal to the prosperity rating of Gloomhaven, of the city of Gloomhaven. Because throughout the game, you can do all sorts of different events and actions to sort of hurt Gloomhaven and be sort of bad characters and have a negative influence and reputation, or you can be positive and sort of build up Gloomhaven into like a prosperous city. And so you want to do that. I think the game is sort of geared toward you being good characters. You get more benefits that way, I think. But I don't know. I'd really be interested. There are big decisions you sort of make in deciding if you want to be good guys or bad guys. I'd be interested in playing through it again, being really bad guys. Anyways, so when you make a new character, you start at a level equal to the prosperity of Gloomhaven, and so for us right now, that's level 2. So if I switch, I'd be level 2, whereas right now I'm level 4, so that's pretty painful. And so, yeah, it's just really fantastic. There's so many like interesting game design choices, how these different mechanics work together, all these different creatures, and just the way, like, you know, when you're fighting a frost demon, you know, it feels thematically like I'm fighting frost demons, with the way they interact with the elements, and, you know, they use frost elements, and so that's really difficult for my character because my character can create frost elements. I have sort of a connection with the frost, with ice, and so I can create ice elements, but then the frost demon, on their turn, will use that frost element that I just created for their own benefit. So I've like introduced ice into the atmosphere, and then they just like absorb it and use it for their own benefit against me. So that's really interesting. And like, if you create like fire element or something, they can on their turn potentially transform that fire element into ice, and then they can use it and benefit from it. Really interesting stuff going on with the game, and it's just this continuous journey of unlocking things and new scenarios, and the story, the ongoing story, and the actual game mechanics of the cards. I just love it so much. You know, I was a little down on board games this year overall, just because it's like, we rarely get together and blah blah blah, and Arkham Horror helped that. I'm a big fan of the Arkham Horror LCG, but then Gloomhaven came out, and I sort of shat on it when I first talked about it, because it just was like, when am I ever gonna play this? And I didn't think my mom and I would really get into it at all, and it's just like, I wasted all this money, but my God, I am so glad that I got in on that Kickstarter. Gloomhaven, fantastic game. So yeah, there was no role manging this week because of the holidays. So this following week, probably on Thursday, I hope, we're finally going to start Ziggy's Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign. Which, you know, that was a while ago now that we made characters for that, so we're definitely going to need a bit of a refresher, but I'm very excited for that. Just a good old school Ziggy campaign, dark fantasy, sort of grim and lethal, so definitely going to push my my creativity and my RPG skills in order to stay alive, because that's really, especially because my character has a fear of death. He's afraid of dying, so that should help, that I can try to avoid any sort of violence and death, and be like, well, I'm playing my character, because I want to stay alive, and I want to get to the high level and cast crazy spells and shit. Other than that, the other day, I had a really crazy idea. I don't know what I was reading, I don't know what I was looking at, but, you know, RPGs are becoming very popular now. The Dice Tower, just the other day, they did their first D&D session ever. I think maybe a couple of them had played before, like, years ago, and they didn't care for it, but they did a live D&D session. They brought in a DM from somewhere, and so they all played 5th edition D&D, which, obviously not my choice, but they all sat down and they played, and I mean, I know some of you do watch Roll Manging, and you watch the live streams, and, or, you know, you watch the stream of our sessions, and that's why I do it, that's why I put it up, but I just cannot watch other people play RPGs. I just cannot. I can't do it, because, you know, it's like, you know, if you ever watch like a horror movie or something, and you're thinking like, oh man, why did that character do that? You know, why, if I would have done this. That's like every single second of me watching somebody play RPGs, tabletop RPGs. It's like, what is it? I can't, my brain just cannot accept, like, I just, it's like torture, really. Not that I'm like really good, and it's like, you people are playing D&D wrong, I'll show you how to do it. It's just, I do things differently. I think that's the way I'd put it. And so and I'm like that when I watch horror movies as well. I think about like, oh, if I was there, I would do this. But RPGs, that just cranks it up to 10. So I just cannot watch anybody play RPGs. And I know it's very popular, like Critical Role and I think the Penny Arcade guys, they do some like celebrity stuff, and like, you know, Vin Diesel playing D&D. I know that's like a popular video. I can't even watch I just cannot. So as much as I approve of the Dice Tower doing a live RPG session, I could not watch it. So I don't know how they did, or I did watch the first like 3 minutes. I like skipped through like the intro. And what I heard was they started in a tavern. They were all 4 of the players were just sitting around in this tavern. They didn't, I think a couple of them knew each other in character, but they're all sitting around this tavern, and this random NPC walks up to the barbarian player character and says, "I don't like your face," and then just just punches him right in the face. And so like this brawl like is about to start out. The DM's like, I don't want to do a combat here, but what are you guys doing? And so they're like, I'm gonna tear this guy and blah, blah. And then he's like, the guards rush in immediately before anything happens. And he's like, "You 4 ruffians, you're coming with us." And so they arrest the 4 player characters and no one else. And they get taken to the mayor's office where they're sent off on some mission. And it's just like, that's where the point is like, all right, I'm done. I can't. And that was not even anything on the players. Like, they didn't make like bad choices or anything. But if a DM did some shit like that to me, and the guards were like, "You're coming with us, you know, don't say anything," you know, like no arguments, nothing. It's just like, I would burn that fucking tavern to the ground. All right, there would be no one left alive after a DM pulled some shit like that. Like, it's just, and I know it was their first time. It's their first time playing. You can do anything with first timers and be like, oh yeah, well, this is exciting. But for me, that's just, no, yeah. There are far, far better ways to introduce adventure and conflict than forcing a tavern brawl onto the players and then specifically arresting the 4 of them. That would not fly with me. But that's also why I don't like railroad adventures anyways. So I hope they had a good time. I hope they, you know, start talking more about RPGs. You know, I'm a huge fan of the hobby, so I really hope that it continues to grow and more people get into it and accept that it's not only for nerds. It's not only for satanic weirdos. You know, board gaming is becoming very big, very popular. A lot of people are coming to learn that board gaming is not just Sorry and Monopoly. So I hope a similar thing begins to really happen with RPGs. And people learn it's not just D&D. There's a lot of cool RPGs out there. You know, Lord of the Rings was popular. Anyways. Oh, my original point. The crazy idea that I had, because I was, you know, the Dice Tower did that, and RPGs are becoming more popular, and, you know, I hear about all the time people like running one-shots for their families and, you know, like their parents and things like that, of just running D&D for them and seeing how they like it. And so I was like, you know, next year I should run a one-shot for my family, like at Christmas when we all get together. And really I thought like of doing a bunch of the kids. So running a one-shot for a bunch of the kids that are interested, and any adults that want to join in. And my mom said she would join in and sort of wrangle the kids together. And I really, I really only thought about it because I was like, I have a chance here to introduce a whole new generation at a decent age to, the joys of RPGs, because I didn't get into it until I was like 20, 21, somewhere around there. 21. I think I was around 2021 when I got into D&D and then into RPGs. Right around when I started Let's Playing. And I really, really wish that I had gotten into it at a young age, or like 14, 13, 14, all through high school. I could have been playing RPGs, all through those summers. We could have been playing RPGs, D&D every single day. It could have been incredible. Whereas now we get, once a week, we're happy. So yeah, I wish I would have been introduced to it at an earlier age, and so I have a chance to do that for a bunch of kids, and if some adults are interested in joining, that can't hurt. And so yeah, it was a wild idea. So it's gonna be a year from now or so. Let them mature a little bit more. And it wouldn't be D&D, it would be like one of the systems, like just a real stripped down, simple system designed to run with kids, where they just have like, you're a fighter, you're good at fighting things, and you're a wizard, you're good at wizarding things and stuff. Just very basic, simple stuff, just to tread the waters. Because really, the joy of RPGs is far less about the rule sets and things like that, unless you're like a GURPS player or something, and more about the adventure and the magic of playing an RPG around a table and things like that. Creating a story. So I don't know. I have no idea how that'll go. I'll probably live stream it or something. I think it would be wild. But, kids are really kind of annoying. That's why I'd hope there's a couple adults there to just sort of be like, sort of take charge, and so I don't have to correct the kids when they're like, I pull out a bazooka and I blow him to death and explosions and shit and God. Alright. Anyways, so hopefully Shadow of the Demon Lord on Thursday. But other than that, check out the 9 Divines video tomorrow, or you can just watch the Shoddycast video right now. It's the same thing, unless you like my voice. We got Namira and Nocturnal this week. More Final Fantasy coming. More Hollow Knight coming. That's probably about it. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think. There's Styx, but I'm probably done with Styx. We'll just go with Hollow Knight instead. I think that's a more favorably received option. But anyways, my name is Mangg. Hey, this has been Hanging with Mangg, and oh, sorry, Linus. I wasn't looking at chat. I didn't think anyone ever chatted. So when you retire a character in Gloomhaven, they are retired for that party. So you can have multiple parties in Gloomhaven at the same time. So like, I can have a Mind Flayer in this party named Jim. But then I can also have a separate Mind Flayer, or a Mind Thief in a different party named, like, Bill. And there are different characters. So you have different sheets that you can have for different characters. So once you retire Jim, Billy or whatever can still be Mind Thiefing in a different party. So this also lets you have, like, the same campaign can go on, and you have a 4-player party that's playing through the campaign, but then, once a week you have a 2-player party come in, and they're doing their own thing. And there's some rules for how you can't really repeat certain scenarios with the same party, so it's really not ideal, I think, but they have the option there. So yeah, that's for us. For us, pretty much, we have the one party. When we retire a character, it's done. But there's so many characters to unlock, because every time you retire a character because of a personal quest, you get a new character unlocked, and there's like 17 in the box, so there's plenty to choose from. Yeah, I guess that's it. All right. So, yeah, this has been Hanging with Mangg, and I'll see you fine folks next week. Have a very good new year. Onward to 2018.